Good afternoon, man. We had a good day today. Because of our attire, helmets only, we focused on a lot of passing game-oriented things, 2-minute, no huddle and things of that nature. In some of our competition periods, it was offensive passing game-related things and defensive coverage-related things, running backs and tight ends versus linebackers inside and out and some coverage and things of that nature. It was a good day, good energy and spirit given the attire that we had. No news is good news on the injury front. Not a lot of new stuff. A couple of guys that were unable to finish yesterday, Kevin Dodson and Dax Raymond, appear to be more short-term related injuries. Nothing of any significant long-term concerns. Some of the guys that have been missed some time are working their way back. James Washington worked in a limited capacity today. Chris Wormley worked in a limited capacity today. But largely, it was a very productive day given the attire. We focused on things that we could focus on and had a very good, productive day. Now the guys get an off day and ready to gather themselves for a big weekend. Be happy to address any questions you might have.
First question, Mark Caboli. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, Mike, about that first drill, the 2-minute drill, what did you like from your offense here? They seem to move the ball pretty well. And number two is, did Switzer make that touchdown catch, or did Watt sack Ben? What was your rolling?
You know, we make a point of talking about the drills being football-like and not football. And so the essence or the emphasis in the 2-minute are the plays that are made down the field, the game mechanic things on both sides of the ball, the giving and receiving of information. The rush and the protection is less significant and is really tapered in that drill. So whether or not somebody is sacked or pressured is less relevant, and it's about the other elements of the drill. I wasn't at a perspective where I could see what happened with Switz. I assumed that he got it in because the guys down there signaled it a touchdown.
Next one is from Brooke Pryor from ESPN.com. Brooke, go ahead.
Hey, Mike. When we talked to JuJu earlier this week, he was asked what he brings that's unique to the wide receiver room that nobody else has, and he said that was being the fun guy. But what, from your perspective, can he do that's different from all of your other receivers?
You know, I think he brings more experience than the rest, and that experience provides a platform for expertise, wisdom, guidance, among other things. I'm just talking about intangible qualities that his journey separates him from the rest of them. His talents are his talents. They speak for themselves. He's got a unique skill set. He's very sturdy. He's got strong hands. He's a very good combat catch guy. But I'm more concerned about the intangible things that his journey to this point brings. He's a young guy, but he has a wealth of experience. He's been to the Pro Bowl and things of that nature that the other younger guys in the room can lean on and glean information from.
Next one is Mike Pursuta, DVE. Mike, go ahead.
Mike, regarding special teams, do the circumstances make it harder to figure those out? And do you think the circumstances, the whole COVID thing and the way your camps are set up, is that going to make for more uncertainty early in the season on special teams?
You know, I don't know if it's going to change the quality of play or the level of play. I know it probably creates some anxiety for coaches who are used to a certain procedure or a certain process in order to get a group ready to play or get an individual ready to play. We'll know less about some of the young men in particular that are on coverage units and in return units in September, but it'll be the same for all 32 teams. So from that standpoint, it'll be fair. And I'm just focusing on ways to provide capable men of proving that they belong so we can make sure we make the appropriate decisions in terms of not only who stays and who goes, but the division of labor within it.
Next one, Joe Rudder from the Trib. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Mike. What do you like about Ryan Switzer in that slot role, and did he bring a little bit of that in that first drill today? You know,
he brings big time experience to that position. Not only NFL playing experience, but college playing experience. I've seen him in that position some in Heinz Field when he played at UNC. He's a guy that understands that that's a niche for him. So, you know, he embraces the detail required to be successful in there. He'll continue to carve out his role in this process like everybody else is, but he does bring that unique experience to that position specifically.
Next one is Jenna Harner from WPXI. Jenna, go ahead.
Hey, Mike, I know obviously it's early with you guys putting the pads on, but I know that was one of the things you said you were most looking forward to when the rookies came in, was kind of seeing what they were going to be able to do when you guys did put the pads on. What have you kind of seen from them so far that's impressed you guys?
You know, I don't know that I've seen anything that's overly impressive. You know, we're still in the get-to-know stage, and really we pit young guy versus young guy at this juncture. And when a young guy shows consistent dominance against his peers, and then we put him in a more competitive circumstance. So we're still in the sorting out process of young guy versus young guy. And as those guys begin to show distinguishing traits in that competition, we'll step up their level of competition and play them against some of the older guys.
Okay, final question goes to Brian Batko from the Post-Gazette. Brian, go ahead.
Hey, Mike, I'll ask you another special teams question since we talked to Danny Smith this morning. How tough is it to stage a punting competition when you don't have any preseason games to see those punts? And specifically in your guys' case, when the young guy who's maybe here to push Jordan hasn't even had any game film in 2 years?
Shoot, you're just talking about a portion of the issues relative to sorting that out. How about the holding element of it as well, which is also a component of the job? But that's the challenge that we're all faced with. And, you know, there's a lot of those battles in terms of the division of labor that's worrisome in this environment. We'll push through it. We'll create a competitive environment. The guys have a lot to do with that. The way that they embrace the competitive practice atmosphere that we have aids in sorting some of those things out. But make no mistake, there's many layers to that discussion than others. And it's a challenge that all of us globally are faced in this no preseason game environment.